What's up, people? Welcome back to another Fractured Daydream video. This time I'm gonna talk about thoughts for this game, like I always did for the other SAO. So this one is a lot quicker compared to the other one. Just to let you guys know, the game is not fully complete yet. But for the time being, I'll talk about this game. So far I played it almost 200 hours. Plus demo another 50, so that's like 250 plus. So, and then yeah, it's a lot for like the first 3 weeks and something. Obviously there's people who played it even more for this game, but you know, you don't have to play insane amount of hours to really, you know, talk about what there is to the game itself. Like when I play 5k for 5,000 hours for like AL. I didn't talk about the game until it was like 1,000 or 2,000 hours into the game, but it doesn't really matter too much, So what matter is that if you finish everything yet. So if you did, you can talk about it as usual. Now I'm gonna start with a story, and yeah, let's get that going. Before I start, this video is basically just my thoughts. You might agree, you might not. It does not matter. What matter is that if you enjoy the game or if you don't enjoy the game, it's okay, One thing every time I talk about SAO is that people will agree, people will disagree. But what's not okay is trying to attack somebody just because their opinion does not, agree with you. When it comes to the game, like what you think and what the other people think. So it's okay, like I say, people get upset when people say something like they don't want to listen, and that's why I want to talk about it before I start to talk about the actual video itself. Now, story wise, it's extremely short. It's definitely not anywhere near the old SAO games, which technically I don't really have to compare this SAO to any of the other SAO games, because this is not really the game verse. It's on its own separate, thing. So therefore, there isn't insane amount of stuff to compare. Besides, there are some elements from the Fatal Bullet, and that's it. Because it's the same devs, they're gonna transfer some of the stuff from the previous game. As usual, story, 5 chapters, very short. Is it good? It's alright. Because story-wise, very confusing. Some of them are plot hole, but whatever. I mean, it is actually quite funny, not gonna lie. Although I'm never really like going crazy about story. When it comes to playing SAOs, I'm always into just play the story once, and then play the end game. So do explore. Some people are big into the story, so I'm just gonna leave it there because I don't want to judge any story that much. So you guys can, figure that out. So other than that, let's talk about the multiplayers. Now the multiplayers, it is definitely fantastic, because this is the SAO that we always wanted in the old games, where we can actually do crossplay. Now 20 players is a lot of players. They're good and they're bad. Let's just put it this way. The good thing is you have a lot of people, you can play with a lot of people. And the bad thing is this game really is multiplayer based, so you kind of have to play with multiplayer regardless. There are some problems. What is it? Well, first of all, if you don't have internet or you have bad internet connections, yeah, that might not work. The second thing is that, is there any solo stuff offline? No, there's nothing you can do in offline. So before you pick up this game, this is one thing I need to tell you guys, is that if you want to play online only, this game is for you. If you want to play anything that's offline, or you want to do like the previous game, this is not. Because the only thing you can do offline is story mode. You can't do anything else. There's nothing you can do in this game. So without internet. And yeah, if you want to play it by yourself, it won't work. Because you have to play with people. Now, some of the lobbies won't start. It will take a really long time to start. You can't go in there by yourself to start a game. So you have to have a certain amount of people before it starts. And they will fill it with bots. Now, that's one thing I don't like about it, is that sometimes when you have like 4 or 5 people, like, the game won't start. I mean, either way, I'm gonna have to wait there 2 or 3 minutes in the other regions. I mean, we're gonna end up with the same amount of people, so might as well start the game, you know? It's okay to play with bots, but what's not okay is that it takes forever to start a match. So basically, if you want a fast match, you're gonna have to go to Asia. If you go to North America and, you know, European server, there's honestly not a lot of people in there. Because everybody go to Asia play. That's another thing, you know. Multiplayer is good and it's bad. The bad part is, so I've been in a lot of lobbies with people. I'm seeing so many people AFK, not playing the game. They just sit there and they get free levels and etc. Expect others to do it for them. In fact, I'm gonna have a video clips to show you guys the AFK players in the game. It's actually quite funny. So, you know, most of the time we report them. If you're not gonna do anything in the game, just expecting to get the free XP and stuff, you will get report. If people care enough, which, you know, Japanese players, they do care. If you're not gonna do anything in the game, someone will report you. It's really that simple. Might as well just don't start the game, you know, because people want you to contribute. Don't want you to just sit there and, you know, get free gears, you know, get free XP and do that kind of stuff. And it is very, very annoying. Now, the other thing I want to talk about multiplayer is that the one thing about it is, like, yes, you level up and you do other things, but I run into players that honestly have no idea what they're doing in the lobby. So basically, essentially, you level up because you get level no matter what. Eventually, you get to the higher stuff. They will just go in and expect you to do everything for them. And honestly, they shouldn't even be there. You know, some people take advantage of the easy leveling and get, you know, carry. I'm not saying a lot of people. I'm just saying there's small amount. There's one thing about SAO that I don't do. It's carry. Now, if you know me very well from AL and the other, you know, games, I want to teach people how to play a game, you know, not necessarily carry them to get them gears, because that's not going to teach them anything at all, which is very, very annoying. I'm seeing a lot in these lobbies, you know, besides the people just don't do anything, or the people that have no idea what they're doing. Well, since they don't require anything, you level up, you can just go play. This is a problem. There's another problem. Hackers or modders. You know, people go in and one-shot bosses and etc. I think the game is doing okay to ban them, but occasionally you still will run into them. Now, this is like one of the biggest issues when the game first came out. That's like launch day, and already have people using cheats, killing everything in one shot. So they are actually taking actions to, you know, to ban them, which is good. This will ruin the multiplayer. If you have somebody in there doing this, modders always exist in the other SAOs, but it was a lot better because you don't have to run into them. But here, you have no choice but run into them. It is very, very annoying. So, yeah, that's some of the problems with multiplayers, you know. After playing so long, like, there's, like, about the multiplayer, there's a good amount of bad stuff, but if you want to talk about the multiplayer compared to the other game, it is fantastic. This is like one of the best multiplayer and whatever got, you know, in the previous SAO. So you can play with your friends, cross play, whatever. It is fantastic. There's nothing to talk about the multiplayer like being terrible at all, besides those problems that I mentioned. Those are like very, very serious problems. So you obviously will get some goods and bad. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna move on to the other topics. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is the RNG in this game. Yeah, the RNG in this game is extremely terrible. Now, if anybody played at AL and they farm everything from AL, this is as close you can pretty much get when it comes to getting gears. Good thing they have a chip system that implemented from Fatal Bullet. Otherwise, if you want to farm for something that's good, good luck. You might as well don't farm it, just farm anything you want to, and use it. Because, yeah, the legendaries, the accessories, like, oh my god, it is ridiculous. It is so hard to get in this game. Not to mention cosmetics. I farm a lot, and I haven't got a lot of them either. I've only got like a few, and that's about it. Like, it is insanely grindy game. Unless you just have really good RNGs, then you'll be fine. But most people don't. I hate to say it, but most people don't. The best way you can probably do is get purple gear, transfer sphere, and make it work. And occasionally here and there you'll get some legendaries, and then make it work. That's about it. I mean, it's so hard to farm for a, perfect gears or whatever. It's very, very hard. Like I say, if you play the AL and you farm everything, you can compare that to there. It is extremely difficult in AL. Yes, I got pretty much everything in AL that's God roll that I wanted to farm. But here, I don't know. I mean, so far playing for so long, the RNGs is horrible. It's horrible. A lot of people will tell you that RNG is bad. Now, the problem is that when you're doing tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, it makes no differences, because they don't boost you anything. Like the MVP and the last hit, there's no boost. There's literally nothing, so it's basically pointless. If you want to just get more XP, like to level your character, sure, MVP or last hit will help, but in the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, after farming it so long, and you still get common and uncommon, so basically the white gears, green gear, all that stuff, like, come on. The reward is really, really bad in this game. Like, not just me talking about it, the JPs are talking about it, our player base is talking about it, server is talking about it. This is one of the, like, it is much, much harder to farm in this game than Fatal Bullet, that's for sure. Now, I don't know if they can change it, but if you're ready for a grind game, this is a grind game for you. So yeah, let's move on to another topic. Here's another thing. So I want to talk about what you do in this game mainly. Here's the thing. Like I say, it is not a super complicated SAO game. Some people, they get triggered when I said that. Well, you have to look at it this way. I play the other SAOs. I can say this, but if this is your first SAO or Fatal Bullet is your first, and you don't play the other SAOs, then there's nothing to argue about it. You have to play it in order to know. For people who played it, they will tell you pretty much the same thing. So it's not because the game is easy, like, people get ticked off. It's because, from my perspective, that's why I say it's my perspective, my thought. It has nothing to do with people that agree or don't agree. I said it many times in the other SAOs. Whatever I say or whatever other people say, don't get too upset about it. In the end of the day, if you enjoy the game, you play it. If you don't enjoy the game, you don't play it. None of that matters, The thing is, like I say, a lot of newcomers, they just watch one video when I said that, well, the game is simple. And structurally, it is simple, because if you never play the other SAOs, you don't have, like, if you go back and play it, you have to learn so much stuff in order to even play it. in this game, you don't have to learn a lot. Yes, you do need to learn. That's why I say it's not because everything is easy in the game. Is it because they design the simplicity of the game? So some people enjoy it, some people don't enjoy it. Like me, I like do more complicated stuff. Not necessarily simple game. The only reason I am playing this game is because it has SAO titles. And normally I don't play it. Period. But that doesn't mean the game is bad. The game easy versus the game is bad is two different things. You can have fun in an easy game, and it's not a bad game. You know, I'm not saying the game is bad. I'm just saying the game it's simple for people to learn. Now, if this is your first SAO, it might not be simple. But you have to look at from perspective. I understand from people who just started this game or whatever as their first SAO, then this might be a little bit of learning progress. Now, that's what I'm saying. You know, if I already played the other ones, I can talk about this game as simple, you know. Because for people who watch my stuff for years, they know what I mean. I'm not necessarily go out there and saying, you know, guys, this is just the easiest. And you all gonna be, you know, when you all play this game, it's gonna be like that. No, I'm saying from my perspective, for me, who played it other one for a long time, and compared to this is not a whole lot of things you have to learn in the game. You know, you believe or not, that's why I say you have to play the other ones to understand. That's all. Now, it has nothing to do with the game being bad. That's all. Other than that, let's talk about the gears and level. Now, the only thing really kind of matters in this game, you really just have to grind your levels and gears at the moment. That's it. The only thing you can compare to people is basically gears, levels. You level it up, you get better gears. Now, this is like when I talk about the DPS video, it has nothing to do with endgame builds or anything. I'm just talking about the structurally. Yeah, of course, I know how you set it up and all that stuff. I mean, I did that in the other SAO. It's not magic, but in this game, it's very, very straightforward. You level up your characters, you level up your levels, you get gears, you'll be better. People say, well, don't like this build and this that. Like, I'm not talking about builds. I'm not talking about your endgame builds. This is two different type, you know, of conversation. This game, in the general view, what you do in this game, what exactly do you do in this game? You grind gears, you grind levels, you do higher stuff. Now, it has nothing to do with like how much DPS you're gonna do in this game. Like, generally speaking, that's how you do majority of the DPS. Now, if you want to get most people talk about that kind of stuff. They talk about like the highest of the highest. They want to hit the top of the leaderboard with a specific builds and stuff. That's totally different things. I mean, you do that in pretty much every other SAOs. Now, talking about leaderboards and other stuff in this game is like, why do we even need a leaderboard in this game? Because a lot of time I'm seeing people were just trying to go on that DPS instead of trying to revive your teammates. And they just sit there and they just keep attacking and then they ignore everybody when they go down. So, me, I don't care about DPS. I just want to play this game, you know, have fun. Revive people and etc. Now, putting the leaderboard there, now people will be going after the highest DPS, all that stuff. MVP is teamwork. No matter how good your DPS is, it does not matter if your team don't do the same exact work. This is a team game, not a solo game. You can try to solo everything by yourself, see if that works. It doesn't work because you need you need other teammates to play this game. Therefore, that's why I say I already done all that stuff in the other SAO. So I mean, I'm not really into it or impressed. Like, to me, it's like I say, if you watch my other SAO games, what I did for end games and stuff, you know, end game builds, speed kills, whatever, I've done it all. I got nothing to prove. So when people comes here to tell me that, well, here's how you would set up for the end, you know, for DPS builds, and then they get triggers and etc. I know that stuff. I don't need you to tell me. I know that stuff. It's just that do I care for it that much? I don't. I already said it. I want to have fun in this game, and I could care less about that stuff because I already done it in the other SAOs. I mean, there's nothing special when it comes to this one. Like, people talk about like leaderboards, how to flex on other people with your damage and etc. I said it's not that hard, man. It's all about your gears, your levels. Really. Yeah, you can be specific on like what you put on your gears, but that's still gears and level. It's a nutshell in general. Now, people get upset when I talk about like that stuff. Now, if you think about it, if your character is at level 30 versus somebody is at level 100, no matter how good your build is, you're not gonna catch up to them because they got their base attack boost. There's no way you're matching up if you're level 30, character rank, versus somebody is at level 100 because there are so much more attacks and HP. So therefore, it is kind of like you really do need to level up this game. I'm not wrong. Like when I was talking about the DPS video, people get upset, all that stuff. I'm not wrong. You can try to do a level 30 versus somebody, or under 30 versus somebody at level 100. Your DPS will not be even close to them at all. Not at all. Believe or not. Go to tier 3, use somebody that's under level 30, and trying to compare to those level 100, and see what happens. You will not stand a chance against them. So it is what it is. That's why I say in the other SAO, you can do all these contents as long as you got the knowledge, you got the skill, you can do it. Here, you really just have to focus grinding gears and levels first before you worry about how you will optimize your builds and etc. for the end game. Now, I don't plan on getting everybody to level 100. I only gonna go for the character that I want to play to 100. Now, I got everybody done at level 30, which that's required for the platinum. So the next thing I'm gonna do is trying to get the characters that I want to get to 100. Then I can talk about a little bit about builds, but I'm not trying to go for like the top of the leaderboard. Like, I don't really care. Like I say, if I do end up putting builds, I will just put in what I use, not necessarily what's the best of the best. I did that in other SAOs. It does not matter. This is a different game. That's why I say, if I care for it, I'll go for it. If I don't care for it, I'm not gonna go for it. Like, it's nothing to do with the game being easy or difficult. It's just like if I feel like doing it. That's all. Now, I'm gonna move to the final topic. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is, although this game, that's all they have offer at the moment, I really do hope they add more maps in general. We need more maps, we need more raids, which they say they will add. That's good. Right now, it's not enough. By the time you grind to level 130, I mean, like all characters to 30, you're gonna get bored. Literally. I'm getting like tired because there's no new maps. There's nothing to do. Really, it's 5 maps, 5 bosses rotate. That's about it. But obviously for this game to be very, very successful, they will need to add more maps in general. Now, there's other things like things I don't want to talk about, like the technicals and stuff. Fix those camera angles and etc. Like all that stuff, lock on. It's coming up for people, but well, that's not really a bit like that's up to them if they want to fix it or not. But overall, it's okay. Now we want to talk about microtransaction in this game, and it's kind of expensive. I'm not gonna lie. If you want to buy those coins, it's like what, 30 for 4,000 something. That is super expensive. So I normally like trying to avoid that stuff when it comes to microtransaction in this game, but that's kind of pricey for this game. So there's other microtransaction in the game, so if you care for it, you buy it. But all I'm gonna say is it's pricey, and it's not cheap. Other than that, just more maps and more bosses, which they're gonna do. That's why I say this game overall, it's alright. Would it worth for $60? No. To be honest, no. The amount of content at the moment, if you want to buy the game now versus if you want to buy the game when it's like a lot of stuff is out, it's two different things. Because Generally, a $60 games, they usually offers you more than that. This is offer you story, 5 maps, multiplayer. Well, you can say 6, but one of the map is kind of the same, repeat. So 6 maps, 5 raids, rotates. So that's it. That's all we have in the game for the time being. So I paid for 100. So I mean, obviously, I didn't buy it because of the price. Was it worth it? No, but I bought it because it's SAO. So it was not really. To me, it wasn't really a big deal, but for generally for people, would they buy a game for $60 like this? No, honestly. But you can buy it once it gets a little bit cheaper if you're not in a hurry to play it. Like I say, the main thing is just this game is purely online, so you gotta watch out if you're an offline player or a solo player. So you're gonna have to play with people regardless, and just be careful. That's all. Other than that, I know somebody asked me how do I grade this game. I mean, for the time being, what we have in this game, it's 7. The highest I can probably get is, 7.5 or 8, maybe, when the game is complete. But right now, it is hard to grade it even higher. Some people might disagree. It doesn't matter. Like I said, this is my thoughts for the video. It has nothing to do with what they think. So, like I say, the game isn't perfect. There's a lot of problems here. Now, if you play SAO or watch SAOs for a long time, can you explain why Liz is a fighter, not a tank? And why Alice is a tank, not a fighter? They really need to switch this role here in order to make sense. So they kind of mess up this for a specific, because I don't know Dims, they even do their homework. Now Kirito uses dual wield, but he can use one-handed sword skills. That's for people, if they never played the SAO, they might not care, but for people who play the SAO, they will find this is weird. Now, we need some rebalance here, because the support's a little bit broken in the game, honestly. They're hitting more DPS than any of other these classes so far. Not saying the other can't hit, but a lot of the time, you see top DPS, it's gonna be Yuna. It can even be Yui. So the support classes are out DPS all the other classes. Isn't that a little bit strange? I don't know. It is possible they might nerf later on. Who knows? They might or might not. But seeing that, it's kind of weird because they just don't make sense. Like I say, for people who play the SAO for a while, this does not make sense at all. It is funny. It just doesn't make sense. But hey, whatever they want to do, they want to do it. I really don't care. But I just want to point this out that it is pretty funny for Liz to be a fighter and Alice to be a tank, even though those roles should be flipped. If you watch SAO or play SAO for a long time, it just does not make sense. But nonetheless, that's just one of the problems I'm pointing out. Other than that, there's other stuff. I'm not going to list everything here. So, overall, it is a pretty fun game. I will say this. If anybody say like this game is not fun, I'm just not. I disagree, because period. The only thing I'm arguing is just this game is really fun. Especially you play with your friends and stuff, it's fun. You might not have much fun when you're playing solo, just with random players. But ultimately, this game is fun. Although it is definitely not, perfect. Well, I mean, the whole point of playing games is just have fun. That's it, really, for me. I mean, I can overlook for some of the stuff, but ultimately, like I said, they really need to add more maps to make this game good. So, I'm still having fun. It does not matter whether it was, perfect or not. But ultimately, if somebody asks if it's the best SAO, no, not for me at least. If it's best for you, that's fine. I'm not here to argue either, so don't want to waste my time for that. So it's basically personal preference. I play in game not because they're the best. I play in game because it's fun. That's what it matters the most. So yeah, that's all I want to talk about in this video. It is very lengthy, 30 minutes. You might not want to sit there and listen. Well, you might as well go do something while listen. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for this thoughts for this SAO game. Now, I'm still gonna do guides. Don't worry. I don't know how much I'm gonna do. Like I say, it's not insane amount of stuff I'm gonna do for this game, but I am gonna do what I can or what I want to. Other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Until next time.